Can I take you on a ride on Insights with Dr. K? We'll be talking about faith, family, finance, fitness, and of course, fun. These are the things that make us. Give at least 20 minutes or to that person. It is not a time to teach. Simply do what they like. Brewing ulcer is something that we all need to know much about. It can stay for 3 to 4 months without manifestation. Your business is not small. It's your management skill that has remained small. I want to share with you 7 tips to effectively manage your business money. How psychologically safe are those who are working with you? It's retirement. Yeah, you know it. People are still.
It's the first time it's different from price of 10 time.
I felt we are faced with the reality now. You say,
Is it?
Either
You want to follow them?
So, for record purposes, let me to officially, sir.
Anyway, my name is Donald Peterson. I am an economist, a father, a philanthropist, and also the special advisor to the government of Delta State on entrepreneurship development.
Okay, sir. So, as a special advisor, yes, to the governor on youth entrepreneurship and development, what initiative, policies, and programs have you implemented to promote the development of youth in Delta State?
We're appointed around September 2023 by His Excellency Right Honorable Elder Sheriff Oboriwori. And the charge he gave us is to rejig and revamp the entrepreneurship space in Delta State. And one key thing he said is to think out of the box. He said he does not want business as usual. And we interpreted business as usual, meaning recycling the same kind of systems of policy that have been used in the past. And obviously, if you look at what is happening today, if the policy and the system that were introduced in the past were working, we won't be having this kind of problem we're having today. So we reached down into ourselves and came up with new ideas. Under the entrepreneurship space in Delta State, we christened our idea Delta Premiership, meaning Delta people in business. Now, under Delta Premiership, we came up with 2 schemes, Agripreneurship and Techpreneurship. Why we came up with this is, according to Elon Musk, in 2019, he once said that the future belongs to the techie guy and the guys who will feed the nation. So we assume what he meant by the guy who will feed the nation are the guys in agro business. Those are agropreneurs. And as you know, our population is growing by the day. And we felt that given the acute unemployment and underemployment that we're experiencing in Nigeria today, and the dwindling resources of government to meet up with what government is supposed to be doing, we felt that we should take agripreneurship and techpreneurship very seriously. So under agripreneurship, we looked at our present situation in Delta State. Is no more a hidden fact that most farmers cannot go to the conventional farms because of security issues. Yeah. So we came up with schemes like hydroponic farming system, where youth actually farm in the backyard of their house, even inside the house. And we came up not just giving them this head knowledge, supporting youth on how to go about it. Not just supporting them, giving them valuable information on the type of crops that is in hot demand in the market. So we settled for some groceries like cucumber, we settled for lettuce, we settled for a bit of tomatoes, and also bell pepper. In fact, about 8 months ago, there was a time in the whole of Southwest, South, there was such a supply of bell pepper. They shoot up the price of bell pepper from 3,500 per kg to about 6,500 per kg. And about that time, buyers from Lagos had to come to Delta State. And in Delta State, we could only find one man who was fortunate enough about that time, whose farm was just yielding, And of course, he had to sell at 6,500. He sold well over 100,000 kg of bell pepper. So you can do the multiplication, 100,000 by 6,500. You could see what he made in a few days. So we use that to encourage our youths and, teaching them on how to go about it. And one unique thing about hydroponic farming system, we're not reinventing the wheel. It's something that has been around for a very long time. It's just our unique security situation made us to look inward. And with the hydroponic farming system, you have better yield, 10 times the yield of what conventional farm will give you, And you could actually express it this way, that hydroponic farming system is just like you putting the agric chicken in one place and you're feeding the chicken. The chicken gets bigger and meatier faster than the local chicken that is left to roam, on its own. Little wonder we use the agric chicken for Christmas. Nobody uses the local chicken for Christmas. So that is the hydroponic farming system. We also looked at, it's not everyone that will be so strong to
Sorry. Before you go on, I want to understand what do you mean by hydroponic system? What does it entail?
Okay. Hydroponic farming system is a soilless kind of farming. You don't need soil. A lot of people believe that soil is what does the magic in farming. It's not soil. Soil is just coming as a substrate, something to hold the plant together. What does the magic is the nutrient. And that's why it's when people plant, they water the soil because they want to make the nutrients soluble enough for the root of the plant to absorb it through osmosis. Okay? Now, you now have the plant in one place and the nutrient is in the water, the liquid. So what happened? The plant will just be drawing the nutrient. It's just there feeding, And that, if you look at the root in the hydroponic farming system, they are all together. But if you plant on conventional soil, you see the roots are scattered where they are looking for nutrient, So that's just different. And that's what hydroponic farming system is.
Quite interesting. You sound more like an entrepreneur than an economist.
No, as an economist, we know little of so many things. Yeah, that's what we
You are going to talk about the other sectors or sections of your
we also
project.
look at, this hydroponic farming system, mostly the youth embrace it. You don't expect our aged mothers and fathers of over 75 years, 80 years old to embrace such. Yes, who are already established in their ways. They don't want to look at. So, yet they cannot go to farm. So, we designed a program called Transgenerational Wealth Creator. But we're using coconut. Why coconut? Because coconut is an economic tree, one. We're using the unique lifespan of coconut and the unusual yield of coconut per year. So we went to our governor, we sought permission, and he gave us that permission. And we discovered that traditionally, for you to grow coconut, you use the pod of coconut, the coconut pod to grow coconut. But we discovered that you can actually use the front of coconut, the leaf, to actually grow another coconut to make a seedling of coconut. Yeah, you can fact check me. You go online, you see it there. So from one front, you can actually have 5, 6 coconut, even up to 10, depending on how well you cut it.
Is this operational already?
Operational already on ground that you can see. I invite you to come see the miracle that is being done here. Now,
sorry, if I may also ask, are you also giving this technology to the participants or the beneficiaries of this scheme? This propagation using the palm frond or the coconut frond?
Yes, we are. I want to tell you, it's not technology. It's just something that has been there.
Is this, sorry to cut you short, this coconut aspect now, is it still through this hydroponic?
No, it's not.
We're done with the hydroponic farming system.
Okay.
Another program is called Transgenerational Wealth Creator.
Okay,
We're now using coconut.
Okay.
Now, To use the coconut, when you have to go and buy the pods of coconut, it's more expensive. But we just cut the fronts of coconut, and we use that front, we cut it in bits, and use it to grow another coconut. You can fact check me. Later you can check on Google and YouTube. Probably you see videos of how it's been done there, Then we take these seedlings and we give out about 40 to each of our aged mothers and fathers in the rural areas. Now, coconut, the lifespan of a coconut is between 100 to 120 years. But the coconut takes 2.5 years to mature and start fruiting. So, the ones that were grown in 2023 will start fruiting about 2026. That's where we'll start having the serious impact on that. And now, when you look at it, each coconut every year yield between 80 to 100 pods. Let's go with 80 pods. If you go with 80 pods, which is the lowest number a tree can yield, and you times it by 40, I guess you have about 3,200 pods of coconut. Now, if you go to the market presently, coconut is being sold between 1,000 for a very small one to 1,500 naira for a big one. But you see, they are the market. And what we've been able to do in Delta State is to link the farm to the market directly, cutting out the middlemen. And what did we do? How did we achieve that? We now use technology. We design an app that has an interface, the farm and the market, cutting off the middlemen. So once you plant, you download the app. The app will announce to the market 3 months to when the coconut will be ready for fruiting or to, will be ripe enough for, market. Now, within that 90 days, you see buyers now throwing money at that coconut because they believe in the integrity of the app and the integrity of our office. They're not paying us. They are making orders. Order doesn't mean that you have paid. Order means your intent. I want this. And because they already know you have 40 coconuts, so within that year, you are going to have 3,200 coconuts. So they book your 3,200 coconuts. Now, what we advise, although most people will not take our advice, is that to sell this coconut for about we're not fixing price, we're just saying, to make it more attractive. They fix their price at 500, which is 50% to 25% below market price, So when this is fixed at 500 and you have 3,200 pods to sell, it means that you're going to make about 1.6 million every year from this coconut. If you divide 1.6 million by 12, it means that they are making about 133,000 naira per month. And 133,000 naira per month is like twice the minimum wage in Nigeria. So you can see how the government of Delta State is empowering our aged mothers and fathers and grannies. Well, because, at that age, mobility becomes difficult for them. So they're just home and they make money at home. So they will not just be waiting for their children and grandchildren to send money back home. Papa and Mama are also making money while seated at home. And you might say, okay, they don't know how to operate this app. Yes, but they have little younger ones, the generation Alpha, the Gen Zs that are around them, that will help them to navigate this. So where we see aged mothers, grandmother who cannot operate this, we ask them to bring someone, that is taking care of, that is living with them, that will be able to help them through with this. So this is how they make their money also. Then we also have the snail pen business. Before now, what we have understood about snail is you raise snail, you sell for the meat, right, in the market. Yes, but because of the directive of His Excellency, Right Honorable Sharif Oboriwori, who told us to think out of the box. What was I thinking? What must we do to give an added value to this thing we're doing. When you have the snail, um, you you take the snail. To deslime it is quite easy. You wash them. Snail fall on the ground and all that. And you wash them. You put them in a pan that has a sieve in it. After you wash them, there is the stimulant liquid that is not very expensive. You stimulate them, and when you spray the stimulant on them, they start producing this slime. When they produce this slime, all you need to do is just to wait a minute, then you turn the slime that has been produced into the sieve. The sieve is just to sieve out any impurity there. And then you allow the snail 10 minutes to rest, and you do that. You can do that as many times as you can. Now,
Will the snail now be good for consumption after the stimulant has been sprayed on it?
Yeah, the stimulant is, you see, like...
edible?
Yeah, very edible. The stimulant is not to damage the meat.
Okay.
You see, let me tell you, when snails sense anything that irritates the skin, it reacts. The reaction is what brings up that slime. You understand? So that slime is just a reaction. So you take it out, you let the snail rest again for another 10 minutes, and you spray again. Now, it might interest you to know that a gallon of slime, which is about 4 liters, is being sold for, guess how much? $20,000. Please fact check me. Yes. Is using cosmetics. 1 gallon is 4 liters.
Okay, 4 liters.
Yes, 4 liters.
$20,000.
20,000. Please, somebody fact check me.
So like, how many snails could give you this?
Yeah. Okay. First, it depends on how many times you want to deslime them per day.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
I encourage people that, like what we do, we have between 1,000 to 10,000 snails. Okay. And deslime like 5 times a day, 3 times a week. We give you 1 gallon a week.
It's not detrimental to the lives of these snails.
It's not.
It's not going to kill them.
You're not killing, you're not hurting the snail.
I'm more concerned about it being fit for consumption after that.
Okay, let me tell you what the slime is. You see, like when you yawn, usually you tear up, right?
Yes.
When you tear up, what does that tear do to you? It washes, it cleanses your eyes. It's not damaging your eyes. You see it now?
Okay.
So that's what it is. Remember, when you are in a smoky area, you also tear. It's to protect your eyes. So the snail is just protecting itself with the slime. That's all. So there's nothing wrong with after you tear, nothing is wrong with your eyes.
Afterwards, you could still sell the meat.
I'm coming to that. Now you do that because that snail will be ready for desliming from 8 months. Now, you don't need to sell the meat immediately. You wait till 3.5 years because the lifespan of a snail is 5 to 10 years. So you wait for when it's 3.5 years, you would have been desliming them, till they are 3.5 years. When they are 3.5 years, what you now do is now to sell the meat. How do you sell the meat? You have the opportunity to sell locally, which you sell, I think one snail goes about 3,000 to 4,000 naira, depending on the size and the market, you see. But we encourage our Deltans, because one unique thing about Deltans is that we're smart people, we're proud about it, with no apologies, and we're very resilient. And so what we do is we encourage them that we've been able to open up markets in the UK and in the US and in Germany, where you have our diaspora population, that consume this, open up a new market for them. So what you need to do is to demeat it, dry it, and then you ship abroad. Now, it may interest that one snail is sold for between $11 to $12. No, sorry. That's $6 to $7. Now that's $6 to $7, given the present exchange rate. Thank God that the exchange rate at least is coming down now, about 1,500. So that gives us about 9,000 thereabouts. 9,000 to 10,000. As against 3,000 to 4,000. So look, and it will cost you about 300 naira to ship one snail abroad. So if you now add if you deduct 3,000 from it, you understand. So you now know that you'll probably be making about say 6,000 naira on each as net profit. So imagine where every month or every 2 months you're able to ship 10,000 snails. So you do the maths, 10,000 by 6,000 naira net profit, 60 million naira business. You see, that is the kind of business that we're talking about, because that's the kind of business that will inspire, or this kind of thing that will inspire our youth, and also we encourage them to go into business, and that will make sense to these youth, especially the Gen Zs and the generation Alpha that are coming right behind them. And also, if you make 60 million in 2 months as net profit, I don't think you want to go and work for anybody. Rather, you want to expand your farm. And don't forget that it has been said that by 2030, the Nigerian population will be, by 2050, that will be 450 million. Can you check how many years to 2050? We're in 2025. Just 25 more years. Will be 450 million. So we're this much now, and we're having difficulties with food and all that. We're still importing food. What do you think will happen when we're 450 million? So we need to increase local capacity to grow our food and produce our food. So that is that on the snail business. We have so many other programs, which because of time I might not be able to actually say here. But that is under Agripreneurship. But our youth, it's not everyone that want to hear farming, because there is this thinking and this mindset that, farming is dirty, farming is for people, not young people. Most young people are very techy. They want something, they just want a laptop, and they want to work with their laptop because they're smart, especially in Delta State. We are very smart young people. So we came up with Techpreneurship. Under Techpreneurship, we're not just teaching programming. We're teaching relatable IT skills where they can actually finish in 3 months and have their business running in that 3 months and be ready for market in that 3 months, within that 3 months. So we did a collaboration. We went to all the universities in Delta State. And it might also interest that Delta State is the only state in Nigeria that has 4 state universities owned by the states, and has 2 polytechnics owned by the states, and 2 colleges of education owned by the states. So, and you have youth converging in these areas. So we went to all the schools to seek their collaboration. Now, we have just started the first phase of Techpreneurship with University of Delta in Agbo, with well over 2,000 youths subscribing for the first program. 2,000? Over 2,000 youths subscribing for the first. In fact, we are not able to take everybody. Okay. Because the program will run every 3 months. The program will run such that every 3 months, the university will issue the certificate, the diploma. So because it's been issued by a university, so I guess, one can relate to that certificate. Yeah. And we're not talking of the certificate, we're talking of the certificate now, which is the skill that is being inculcated into them. This skill that we're teaching them artificial intelligence, data analytics, and other programming skills, amongst many others. Now, under artificial intelligence, as we're teaching them, we're giving them projects to do. It might interest you that if you go online, or especially on YouTube, you'll see, if you search Christmas songs, you see that most of the Christmas songs there are CGI, computer-generated images using artificial intelligence. And those things you see there was done in less than 20 minutes. And some of them have over 20 million views. Some have 5 million views in 2 months, 3 months. Imagine somebody with over 20 million views in 3 months. Do you know how much monetization that will be? If my guess is correct, over $100,000 in 3 months. $100,000 to this currency, to Naira, is over 15 million Naira. A young man who did something within 20 minutes and makes about 15 million Naira within 3 months, I don't think it's a bad business. And You don't just have to wait to do just one. You can do multiples and load them on your platform, and they watch it. Once people watch, you get paid, by YouTube. So these are some of the things that we are doing with our youth to actually keep them focused and make them ready for markets, for them to be employed, their services, and also for them to create employment also. So as it is, the Delta State government is aggressively addressing underemployment and unemployment in Delta State. Although it takes time, you understand, it takes time. And because it's a new program, people are a bit apprehensive. I'm like, you sure of this? But when you start seeing the results, the result will be the thing that will reverberate around the nation. And the result, of course, will tell its story. As they say, the taste of the pudding is in the eating.
So I was going to ask you how this Deltapreneur program is going to measure success of the beneficiaries, because we've seen over time it's more like people just do they think it's a government thing, so they just garbage in, garbage out, they just take it and they move. So what are policies, what are programs, or what are monitoring metrics put in place to monitor their progress and successes and the impact of this program?
I was going to ask a similar thing. What is the financial model? Because the greatest challenge the youths and the elderly face in entrepreneurship is capital provision.
Yeah.
So what's the financial model around this?
Yeah, what we have been able to do is that we have completely innovated entrepreneurship program and the system of what we're dishing out. You see, before now, people come up with programs and say they are given starter packs. Mm-hmm. That starter pack is a lazy man thinking. Completely lazy man thinking. I tell people that you are your starter pack. Are you your starter pack? Your mind. Once your mind is set that you are really ready to progress, then that's the starter pack that you need. The rest is make yourself available. Once you make yourself available for that program, while you are in that program, while you're on that program, you start getting your projects. Your project now becomes your business. Let's take, for example, you that are doing artificial intelligence. And after 1 month, you are asked to probably tell a folk tale. Any folk tale that you must have had your father, your mother, your granny say. Can you just tell AI to tell this folk tale and give videos or pictures of this folk tale and tell AI to generate it? We all have had folk tales in our various villages from aunties, fathers, and all that. So you put that there. Whatever is generated will ask you to open an account with YouTube. Load it. It's your account. It's nobody's account. Depending on the number of hits and how nice your story is, I mean, how people can relate with it, you make money. So while you are still there, you are making money. And guess one thing? As we are here, there are ants here. But you will not see them until you drop sugar. That sugar, after a while, will start attracting the ant to come. So if you see that while still studying, you are making money, you now see that program is effective. Because with that, you'll be able to make meaningful success. Of your life. Okay? Yes. So what we do is we guide you through. Our monitoring metrics is the guidance that we give you for you to be able to reach a point where you can start making money. And to make this money, we guide your hands, we guide your mind. Like telling you now, do a story. This story, you must have had it before. It's been in your head, but you didn't know what to do with it. Now, somebody's telling you, reach out into your mind. Pull up one of the folk tales that you had. Submit the parameters to the AI and let AI generate images like and story for you. Something like that. A cartoon, storyline, the cartoon with the video or pictures. You understand? Go online, you'll see so many of them. And once you click the button, it's generated for you. When it's generated for you, it's now your own. You can now load it up on your channel. When it's on your channel, you earn money based on views.
Okay. All right. Coming back to agripreneurship.
Yeah.
What's the financial model in this case where you're going to give these people some inputs as seedlings, they'll plant and you take them to market, maybe make your money. How do you monitor the returns they make and being sure that they are paying for these inputs? Because this is more like a business venture for the state government.
Yes.
You already said that giving them packs doesn't really make sense. So they have to pay for whatever they get. But you are making it easier in this life. So how do you do this?
Okay. You see, what we do, first, don't forget that I told you that we design an app. They are going to use an app. That app is actually doing the monitoring for us remotely. So when buyers make their intention on the app known, we already know the potential market that you as an individual company, but we see you now as a business. We're not seeing you as a farmer. We're seeing you, what you are doing is a business. So we see that somebody, Mr. A, has sent an intention to buy 3,200 coconut pods from you this year. You set the price. The market price is between 1,000 to 1,005. You set the price of 500. We encourage people to set the price at 500, but it's up to you. You might get lucky and set it at 1,000 and the man picks it. So if you set it at 1,000 for 3,200 pods, it means you have 3.2 million. Potentially, that is what that market is. Okay? Because the buyer does not know you, the buyer wants to be sure that when this thing is right, that you will get his produce. And you also don't know the buyer. You also want to be sure that when you ship this to the buyer, you will get your money. That's where the app plays its roles. So what you now need, the buyer gives you his details and say, ship to me. You understand? The buyer already pays this money through the app. The money is now in holding. The money has left the buyer. The money, the produce has left the farmer, okay, or the seller here. The money is holding. When it gets to the buyer, and the buyer confirms, okay, quantity okay, you understand? Money drops to the seller. And the buyer has 48 hours once he receives the product to confirm. If you refuse to confirm, the system confirms it for you. Yes. The system confirms it for you and the money goes to the seller. Because, there are sometimes buyers will receive this product and be enjoying the product and using the product and don't want to confirm. So you are told you have 48 hours with you to confirm. So the money gets to the seller. So these are things we have done to actually make sure that there is equity, there is transparency, and the system end-to-end is actually secured.
Okay, I'm going to ask one more question before I will ask for the larger scope of all these beautiful things we've been doing in Delta State. I wanted to know, what is the selection process? Because people hear these kind of good things, but they are not privileged to participate. So how do you select those who benefit from
In
this
addition
program?
to that, we know that Delta is quite a very big state.
Oh yeah,
we have
a beautiful one too.
We have Warri, we have Abo, we have Asaba, we have
so many cities.
So in addition to what he asked,
how do you choose locations?
Yes, how do you map this and how do you map these youths? Secondly, in addition to the question too, when you were talking about agripreneur, I just discovered that they are even made up of older persons. It's the techpreneur that you get more of the youth. But I was thinking that this is an entrepreneurial business that is targeted at the youth. So can you?
Okay, I'll start from the last question. Agripreneurship. Don't forget that I enumerated 3 programs under it. There are so many more, but because of time, that was. The snail pen business is not for very old people. It's for young people too. The hydroponic farming system is not for old people. It's for young people. It's a transgenerational wealth creator that we say is for older people who has issues with mobility. They just want to sit in their home once you're over 70 and just watch. You see, so it's for you.
And who are willing to wait for 2.5 years.
Yes, exactly. You see. Now, on what you asked on how people are engaged onto this program. First, it's open to everybody living in Delta State. Everyone living in Delta State is open to them. Now, you see, because this program is still new, there are skepticism, there are doubts. So a lot of people will not want to come on board here, they'll be watching. But don't forget that Delta State is uniquely structured in communities. We'll go to community heads. Then we'll go to kingdom heads, you see. So each community heads will bring out people from their community. This is not partisan. It's about people. The Delta State government is not looking at party. Because once the governor has been elected, he becomes the governor of the people of Delta State. It's not the governor of PDP, mind you.
Yes.
So it's about the people. So each communities now will bring up people. So communities can select about 500 persons. Then in batches, they send first 50 like that, you know. But don't forget that this first round, people will not come until they see progress. That's the analogy I draw for you about ants and sugar.
Yeah.
They won't come now. Very few people are coming now.
They begin to see
But when they
results.
start seeing result and success,
Yeah.
you now see deluge. You know, yes.
Okay.
Okay. I was going to ask, because before now we have known Delta as an entrepreneurial state.
Yeah.
The previous governor
Yes.
was also good or hot
Oh yes.
on entrepreneurial development.
Very hot.
Yeah. So I wouldn't know if you were in that system or you came fresh into this one. And what could you say is the difference between what is happening now and what it was at that point?
Yeah. The difference is just the difference between 6 and half a dozen. 6 is half a dozen is 6. As you know, our leader and our father, Senator Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, did so well. But as you know, in the African proverb, the father wishes his son to do better. And this is son, His Excellency, Elder Sheriff Oboriwori, will do better than his father. It's just a natural order of things, the way we see it as Africans. And in the administration of Senator Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, I was an executive assistant. Yes, I wasn't handling the entrepreneurship space. I was executive assistant youth development. So I saw firsthand the challenges the youth face in the youth developmental space in Delta State. I saw that the first line of challenges that youth face is that of how to address employment and underemployment is one of the first challenges that they face. So coming now as a special advisor on entrepreneurship development, I understood that. So I built on that to be able to tackle how we can address these challenges. So you can rightly say that our former governor built the foundation that our present governor is building on. And the building is going to be a fantastic one.
Seriously, I must commend your efforts, and I like your drive, the passion.
Thank you.
You're a youth, and you're already speaking and defending the cause of the youth.
Yes.
But I would want to know what drives you. What's this passion? Because you don't talk like you're the regular politicians we meet.
Or like an appointed
Lord,
person.
yeah.
He's
Do you
speaking more of a passion.
Yes, you're
passionate
talking
point
from
of
a
view.
passion point. So what's the drive?
First is I hold on to this philosophy that I need you to be me and you need me to be you. And also, given that our former governor, who taught all of us politically, gave us a charge that we should be our brother's keeper. You can remember when he was governor, he was the only governor that started on the widows' welfare scheme, where every month widows were being paid money across the states of Delta. She is a very passionate person. And you see, he said, an apple don't fall far from the tree, right? So he's our tree, we're the apple. So we didn't fall far from him. So we learn everything we're doing today from the passion we saw him exhibited. So we are team from there, taking that. And for me, personally, I'm in my natural state. It's a way of life for me. Giving back is a way of life. I don't have this mentality of unhealthy wealth accumulation and it's just about me, myself, and I. I don't have that. By my training and by upbringing of my father, my grandfather, Our family have been noted for philanthropism and to really be our brother's keeper. So it runs in our DNA.
Okay. Just recently, one of the national leaders was saying in an interview that Nigeria has fallen like a pack of cards. And when one says or hears that, it's invariably speaking to the economy. You are an economist. You have actually shown some pragmatism in turning around entrepreneurship in Delta. What's your take in the national economy and the involvement of the youth?
And how you can model this at the national
Okay.
scale.
Let me start by saying that the problems or the challenges we're facing today did not start from now. The road started from a long time ago. Unfortunately, we don't really look back to see where we made mistakes. If you look at the Odoji Salary Award, given where we are today, would you, even that you are not an economist, would you encourage any government to have embarked on such a program, Odoji Salary Award? That brought the first wave of inflation that we witnessed in Nigeria. That salary award, if they had used that money to expand production, infrastructure, and boost businesses, or create a sovereign welfare fund, then don't forget that as far back as 1976, South Korea, Brazil, Nigeria were at par. But today, the far left us, you understand, because of our not being very responsive to progressive ideas and planning. You see, that has been our bane. And unfortunately, people are still living with such retrogressive ideas in Nigeria. And you know what? The same people that are suffering it, they clap for them. They clap. Anytime they come and do what is wrong, people still come out and clap.
Very unfortunate.
After you clap, then years later you start gnashing your teeth. That is the problem with Nigeria, because you know why? We act before we think. Respectfully put, I'm not insulting anybody, but given that what has happened to us, because look at it here. There is nothing wrong with Nigeria itself. As a country, as a geographical entity, there is nothing wrong with it. It's the people. It's the people. And the people are the ones running the government. Yeah, So that is the problem that we have in Nigeria. Now, coming back to how do we model this and make it work? It's not too late to start. If I could take you down memory lane, there was a time Indians were like all over the world, were working all over the world and doing also mania job. You see a master's degree holder, an Indian driving truck, a PhD degree holder, teaching primary school, teaching secondary school in a foreign country and all that. But today, don't forget what Jawaharlal Nehru, a former prime minister of India, did, I think in 1954. He set the foundation for the modern development of India. He set up Indian Institute of Technology. And people were mocking him then. Why? Oh, we are hungry, you're setting up schools. But look at what Indian Institute of Technology has produced today. You look at the Fortune 500 companies, 2/3 of them of their CEO are actually students of Indian Institute of Technology, making India proud. What India earns from IT is far higher than some countries' GDP. You see? So they prepared, they planned. So for us, it's not too late. Look at China. 30, 40 years ago, China economy was in shambles. But they closed their doors, let us develop from within. And today, look at the prosperity. We as Nigerians too, we also need to tell ourselves the truth. We have comparative advantage. Let me tell you. First, if you look at the map of Africa, we are equidistant from the westernmost part of Africa to the easternmost part of Africa to the northernmost part of Africa to the southernmost part of Africa. We are supposed to be the aviation hub of Africa. Have we been able to look at that comparative advantage? We have the wetlands, we have the sea, we have the highlands. We have good arable soil. Almost 95% of the land in Nigeria is arable. There are some countries that don't have that advantage. Look at Israel. Israel in the middle of the desert, are net food exporter. But we, with our green resources and good soil, we are net food importer. So it just shows you how we think and how we do things. So it is for the youth to think right. And thank God this is democracy. It's still building. We're still building democracy. But it's for the youth to start thinking of not clapping for people that are doing you bad because of immediate gratification. Look at things critically and let's plan. Go for those things you know that it's not about yourself. It's about you and the generation to come. Some years ago, we were children. Today, I'm a father. One day, my kids will become fathers and mothers. Okay? So what kind of future do we want to bequeath to these kids? That's why we must do it right now. And that's why, for me, in my capacity, wherever I'm given to serve, I feel that I hold a sacred duty to do my best, my utmost best. Because when we're being sworn in, we took an oath to do our best for our people. I remember taking that oath, and I took that oath with my two eyes open. I knew that when I get into that office, I was going to do the best for the people, and that's what I'm trying to do right now. I believe that if politicians are held more accountable and things we do are looked at critically and unbiased, that I think politicians will do better. But where we do things, whether rightly or wrongly, and you clap, it means that there is no ombudsman anymore. So we can as well do whatever we want to do. The people that are supposed to hold you accountable are no longer hold you. They are too afraid or too hungry to hold you accountable. So you can just run riot on the people. But on a more serious note, given where we are today, it's not too late. We can start from where we are. We look at our advantages. We have the highest population in Africa. That gives us, we have the internal market. Okay. Our location gives us a beautiful location for us to be able to distribute or ship out whatever is being produced here. But what we just need to do to make the economy work is to go back to production. We need to be a productive economy, not consumer nation. We're an import-dependent nation. And if you look at what is happening to us, it is what you call imported inflation. How? Virtually, I tell people that sometimes when you walk into somebody's home, that person and everything that person is living with is 95% imported. People say, how can you say somebody is imported? I'll tell you, look at his clothes, the clothes he's wearing. Yeah, he might be wearing clothes that are sewn in a native style. But that clothes you produce here, the material is not produced here. Even the pin they use in producing it, the thread is not done here. To the bottled water we drink, yeah, the water is under the ground, but the pump used in pumping it out is not produced here. The chemical used in treating it, the filter you use, the machine used in bottling it, the machine you even use in making the PET bottles are not here. Okay? The vehicle used in distributing it are not from here. So you can as well say that that water is 95% imported. Until we get to that micro level of thinking, start saying that we need to do something about it, I don't think we're going forward.
Okay, you'll agree with me that the transformation that we're all waiting for will come from people and the leaders. And that's actually where we're having a problem nationally and even in the micro circles. Here now, if given the opportunity to say maybe what you're doing in Delta State, which is quite appreciated, if you're called to take on a higher service to do this, will you actually be open? Do you have ambitions for higher calls to the nation?
First, I was hired by someone to do this. So please don't give me pass mark on it. The person gives me pass mark that I have passed. You understand?
Yes.
And if he gives me pass mark that I have passed, and maybe there's a call for a national duty, they should go to him and take permission from him.
Okay.
Yes, because I'm working for someone. So anyway, talking about that, it's a program that can be replicated on national level, because we have youth that are very resilient, youth that are hungry. When I mean hungry, not hungry for food, hungry for achievement, hungry to make it happen. Yes. So we have them, and we have youth that are very resourceful. It's just that how the application of these resources, the location of these resources, application of it is what they don't know. Just as I told you that you have folk tales that you've been told. You've been told this folk tale, you just laughed that time, and you never did anything with it. But now we're not saying, okay, this is the location of the folk tale. It's inside your mind. Reach inside your mind and bring it. Now, what do you do with it? Tell AI to bring to life this folk tale. Now, we're not in the direction of where to make it, how to make money. Go on YouTube and put it on YouTube. So you see, so it is leaders that will be able to give proper direction to our youth is what the youth are looking for. And that's what the youth should look for, And from there, gradually, we'll be able to wake up again and start running.
Okay, sir. How old has this program been running? And so far, what has been the challenges you've encountered?
A lot of challenges. We were appointed 18th September 2023. That makes it not up to 2 years now. By September, we make it 2 years. We used the first 1 year, 6 months, or 1 year to 1 year, 6 months, convincing people, going around telling the story, trying to market this idea to people. But because the idea seems too simple but complex, or too complex but simple, people don't want to take it. That's one. Then two, skepticism. Politicians, you guys have sugar-coated tongue. You come again. You say you are desliming snail. It's not that small slime that the snail just makes. Is that what is going to fill 1 gallon? You see where doubt comes in. But it's true if you want to look at it from that perspective. But we're not talking about 10,000 snails and how easy it is to deslime them. And if somebody says, when you deslime them, are you sure the meat is still going to be okay for food? Just as you asked. And this is what you see when you are a politician or a public servant and you're saying this. There are people out there who are distractors who are ready to even say the same kind of and plant the same thing in their minds. When you do that, you've poisoned the snail. The snail will not be edible again. You are giving that poison to people. And of course, because of have big knowledge, and the Bible says, my people suffer for lack of knowledge. So some people say, no, I'm a good man. I don't want to poison people. They won't do it. You understand? But as I said, the taste of the pudding is in eating. It is until when they see the progress and when they see results before you now see deluge of people coming. So right now, we're still urging people to come. But I can assure you they will not come. And I don't blame them. But the few that will come will be the ones that will spread the gospel and let people understand that this thing is good for our youth and for everyone in Delta State.
What advice do you have for Delta youth? Obviously, many of them are not listening, and many of them are not flowing with this policy of the present government. So what advice do you have for youth? And then generally, what advice do you have for the Nigerian youth?
Okay. Not that they're not flowing with the policy of this present government. They just have skepticism. They are just skeptical. Politicians, they've told us this before. What I want to urge them is keep your mind open, right? Research. Thank God for Internet of all things, IoT now, where somebody can say something. I just said a gallon of slime is $20,000. Just go online and check if that is true. If it's true, so that you take the first step. So it's possible to have slime up to 1 gallon. Okay, how do we do that? There's a stimulant to stimulate them. Google, is there a stimulant to stimulate snail to make this thing? You check, people will tell you. You take the second step. Don't just close your mind completely. Let's be open to ideas. And above all, Delta State is a smart state. Christian is a smart state by our former government. We're smart people. Let us live up to that billing. Let us be innovative. Let us embrace innovation. Because that is the way to go, And let us also do critical thinking and critical research. Because as the saying goes, good thinking, good product. And for Nigerian youth, it's about the same thing. You see, I believe that we need each other. I need you to be me, you need me to be you. Let's not close our hearts. We are unique people. That's why we are Nigerians. You see, we're unique people. And one uniqueness that we have is our resilience. All over the world, we are noted for this resilience. And our innovation and brilliance is celebrated around the world. Let us look at these virtues that we have. We need to develop ourselves. Let's not always look at things on the surface and take that surface value, and dismiss things. Let us take time to research and do critical thinking. It will help us as youth, and it will help this nation, and also it will help our tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Dr. Donald, we want to thank you for sparing time out of your busy schedule to run this interaction. You're quite inspiring. We've been seeing politicians, but we see a whole lot of them whose words do not match the actions. But I think it's a different thing with you. And we want to pray that you continue to do the good work without um, getting discouraged at any point, because we also know that challenges will come with some of these good projects and programs you're rolling out. So we want to encourage you to keep standing for the youths and doing your best at all times. We're hoping that someday many more persons like you will come into positions, and when we have a good number of people doing the same thing that is positive, and the change we are seeking for will be closer than we have imagined. So thank you for this time, and thank you for all that you do. Please continue this good work. We also want to promise our viewers that we'll keep a tab on him to watch and monitor and see, evaluating the projects and programs which he has actually talked about. We want to keep a close tab. We want to bring you closer to the programs, new initiatives that are coming from him. And I can assure you, this is something that is worth waiting for. Thank you as well for standing with us. Thank you.